Very warm welcome to all my listeners again on my channel Alisana's audiobook. So today we will start first chapter of this book, and the book name is The Secret of Success, and chapter name is A Taste of Honey. Let's get started. Of all the nectar that bees collect from flowers, only about a third is actually converted into honey. In order to produce just 1 pound of honey, bees have altogether to collect nectar from 2 million flowers. This involves approximately 3 million flights over an aggregate distance of 50,000 miles. Only when the required amount of nectar has been collected does the process of honey making begin. In its initial state, nectar is a liquid of roughly the same consistency as water. Bees' wings have been designed to act as fans which vaporize the excess liquid. When this has been removed, a sweet liquid remains, which the bees suck. The mouths of the bees contain a certain type of gland which automatically transform the sweet liquid matter into honey. Their honey prepared, the bees now store it in their hives in specially formed holes made out of wax. All this involves an enormous amount of work by other bees. The safety and effectiveness of this method of storage is as complete as any packaging in which humans encase honey. Only when the honey is needed for human consumption does it have to be taken from the hives. Numerous other arrangements of this kind could have been made for the preparation of honey. God is able to do all things. He could have brought honey into being by uttering a magic word. He could have caused it to issue from the ground, as he has done with water. But for the preparation of honey, he has ordained this other highly evolved and perfect system. This is so that man may take heed and realize the manner in which God has created the universe, thus learning the laws and methods he must follow if he is to be successful in this world. If we are to sum up the method employed by bees in the preparation of honey, we might say that it is a method involving perfect planning. This same method is to be followed by man. For man to achieve any worthwhile aim in life, he has to work towards it in a planned, methodical way. This is the only way to be successful in one's aims. What applies to the bees applies also to mankind. Next chapter, the example of nature. An expert on hunting writes, the big cats often turn into man eaters when they are too old to hunt and trap wild animals. But 9 times out of 10, they do so because a poacher has wounded them. The Times of India, May 12, 1984. The big cat by nature is not a man eater, but it is the greatest enemy eater among all animals. The big cat does not spare anyone it considers to be its enemy. In general, when a big cat sees any human, it veers away from him. But those hunters who do not possess a proper weapon or take poor aim at a big cat are generally unable to kill it and instead leave it wounded. These are the big cats who turn into man eaters. They now consider humans to be their enemies, and whenever they come across them, they do not stop until they kill them. This is one of the laws of life, just as it is true of the big cat versus man. It also holds for man versus man, whether it concerns an individual or a nation. In both the situations, the same principle applies. Do not seek revenge on an enemy if you cannot at first succeed, for he will only become a greater opponent than he was before. When you try to deal with one who is your enemy without proper preparation, it is like digging your grave with your own hands. Impatience will not work for those who are unable to formulate a plan. With their silent struggle, they are the ones who act against people on the surface, turning them into bigger enemies and later resort to complaint and protest. In this world, ill prepared action and ill founded complaints have no value. Next chapter, the life force. A creeper growing in a courtyard once had the misfortune to have its root and branches buried under mounds of earth and rubble when the house was undergoing repairs. Later, when the courtyard was cleaned up, the owner of the house cut away the creeper, which had been badly damaged, and even pulled out its roots so that it would not grow again. The whole courtyard had then been laid with bricks and cemented over. A few weeks later, something stirred at the place where the creeper had been rooted out. The bricks heaved upwards at one point as though something were pushing them from below. This appeared very strange, but was dismissed as being the burrowings of rats or mice. The riddle was solved when some of the bricks were removed and it was discovered that the creeper had started growing again, although in a sadly distorted form. As it happened, not all of its roots had been pulled out, and when the time of the year came around for them to grow, life began to stir within them, and they pushed their way up through the cement to the sunlight. It is one of nature's miracles that these tender leaves and birds, which can so easily be crushed to a pulp between finger and thumb, can summon up such strength as to force their way through bricks and cement. The owner of the house then regretted having attempted to take the creeper's life. He remarked, "It is just as if it were appealing to me for the right to grow. Now I certainly won't stand in its way." And saying so, he removed some more of bricks so that it would grow unhindered. In less than a year's time, a 15-foot creeper was flourishing against the courtyard wall at the exact point from which it had been so unceremoniously uprooted. A mountain, despite its great height and girth, cannot remove so much as a people from its flanks. But these teeny tender birds of the tree can crack a cemented floor and sprout up through it. Whence such power? The source of its energy is the mysterious phenomena of our world called life. Life is an astonishing, ongoing process of this universe, a force which will claim its rights in this world, and even when uprooted, it continues to exist, albeit dormant, at one place or the other and reappears the moment it finds the opportunity. Just when people have come to the conclusion that because there is nothing visible on the surface, life must be at an end, that is when it rears its head from the debris. That's all. Thanks for listening me carefully. In next video, I will read about the teacher tree, next chapter of this book. That's all.